BPA was originally created as a pharmaceutical drug for estrogen replacement. This should concern you, especially if you're a male. I mean, males and females, but especially males, because as a man, you are consuming what is basically an estrogen drug, which is not good. It's not good for you. Hey there, and welcome to Becoming Natural. I am your host, Victoria Ray, a certified transformational nutrition coach and expert in the areas of mental wellness and nutrition. This podcast is to provide you with the tools and knowledge that you need so that you can live a more healthy and natural life in our world where so many things are full of chemicals and all kinds of other nasty things that honestly we should be concerned about. All right, so good morning or afternoon or whatever it is for you. I do sound a little bit scratchy today, I guess is how you would put my voice. I'm not like sick, but I'm having like I don't know really what's going on. I feel perfectly fine, but I woke up sounding like this. I sounded like this yesterday, and I sound like this today, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I sound like I've been smoking cigarettes for the past 80 years, 2 packs a day, goodness gracious. But it's all right. I guess if you don't mind listening to me sounding like this today, then we'll be all right, okay? So what I've got for you today is something that's pretty interesting. It's something that we're exposed to all the time, but we kind of, brush it off because it's in everything. And that, my friends, is BPA. Now, BPA is used in plastics to make them more moldable and, have them hold shape. And, we've all seen the BPA-free labels, and we, for the most part, know not to heat things up in the plastic stuff in the microwave. But, why should we be concerned about this chemical in general? Obviously, we're like, oh yeah, plastics and chemicals and everything. We're exposed to it constantly. But this is different. And let me tell you why this is different. Because BPA was originally created as a pharmaceutical drug for estrogen replacement. Now, it never made it to the market because there was a cheaper drug that was created. Did I say cheaper? Or did I say that weird? Honestly, I don't know. I think I said cheaper. But yeah, there was a different drug. And so they were like, oh, well, we don't need this BPA anymore because, we found this other one and blah, 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 blah. So it just kind of sat around for a few years. But then they were like, oh, we can use this in plastics. Now, this should concern you, especially if you're a male. I mean, males and females, but especially males, because as a man, you are consuming what is basically an estrogen drug, which is not good. It's not good for you. BPA is an endocrine disruptor, and it's throwing off the balance of our hormones, including our estrogen, our progesterone, and our testosterone, just to name a few. Now, this has been directly linked to breast cancer, prostate cancer, early onset of puberty in children, like where girls are getting their periods at like 8 and 9 years old, which is not normal at all. This is a big problem, and it's not just happening here and there. This is like becoming a problem. And it's also been linked to infertility in men and women. And this is very concerning. The infertility is very concerning because even though there's 8 billion people on this planet, our fertility rates are dropping like crazy. And chemicals like this have a huge role to play in that. We're not having children like we used to because a lot of people can't because of exposure to chemicals like this. We're basically exposing ourselves to hormone replacement therapy daily, unintentionally. And if you guys know anything about hormone replacement therapy, you know that you can use topical creams. Like a lot of men who get older will be prescribed topical testosterone cream, and they'll like rub it on their skin, and it gets absorbed that way. And the same thing is happening with BPA. We're able to absorb this through our skin because your skin does consume, basically, it eats whatever you put on it. And one of those things that's saturated with BPA that's being absorbed into our skin is those thermal paper receipts. So when we're touching these things, we're just absorbing BPA. And that's just one of the ways that we're being exposed to this. This chemical is also being leached into our food from plastic food containers, water bottles, on-the-go coffee cups or to-go cups or whatever, from your favorite coffee places. Now, even though these cups are usually paper, they do have a plastic lining inside of them. So when you're pouring this boiling hot coffee or boiling hot tea into this plastic-lined cup, that BPA is getting into your drink, and then you're consuming it. So not only did you consume the BPA from the receipt that you grabbed from the barista, now you're drinking it in your coffee cup, which is very concerning, especially if you are one of those people that like to go get coffee every day. Because now you're just, like I said, basically drinking this hormone medication, this estrogen medication. And that is throwing off your hormone balance. Now, this is concerning for women too, not just men, because everybody's hormones are extremely delicate. Women too. And constant exposure to this can cause things like endometriosis, like I said, breast cancer, PCOS, and even miscarriages. Our hormones are extremely, extremely delicate, and throwing them off balance can have so many dire consequences, not for just us, but for our children or potential children. On the other hand, it's also concerning for men because, well, men don't need to be taking estrogen medication, It inhibits the production of your testosterone, which, doesn't just lead to mood problems and behavioral issues, but it also leads to problems with your prostate. It can lead to development of male breasts, and you can have bone density problems because testosterone is very important for bone density in men and women. Now, this is also concerning in children when they're hitting puberty because they need their hormones to be balanced out a certain way so that they can hit puberty when they're supposed to and go through puberty correctly. They need that testosterone. Young boys need their testosterone to be where it's supposed to be. They don't need it to be inhibited by this fake estrogen. It's a big problem. We need them to become functioning, healthy adults. BPA is also a problem, not just for, our hormones, but also obesity. Because when you have endocrine disrupting chemicals like this, you're throwing off everything. And I know we've all heard these stories of people who are like, I'm eating correctly, I'm exercising, and I can't lose weight and I don't know what's going on. A lot of that has to do with your hormones. You could be consuming all kinds of endocrine disrupting chemicals, especially BPA, which is going to, yes, mess with your hormones, which can cause obesity. BPA is classified as something called an obesogen. Now, obesogens are something that literally causes obesity. And a lot of the times we don't think about this. We just think, oh, well, you need to eat less. It's not calories in, calories out, guys. That's this old ass way of thinking that has been proven wrong time and time again. Maybe you can live off a diet of Twinkies and go to the gym. Maybe you'll lose some weight, but you're going to have some serious health problems and you're going to feel like shit. It's not just calories in, calories out. And that makes me so crazy when these dietitians and, like fitness professionals tell people that. They're like, oh, well, just look at the calories on the back of the container. Just eat less. That's not how this works. Your hormones are at the epicenter of everything. And if they are fucked up, you guys, you're not going to have a healthy weight. Your muscle mass is going to be all kinds of off. Your bone density is going to be off. And you're going to have a higher fat percentage. And you're going to be more likely to have anxiety, depression, and all other kinds of behavioral problems because of exposures to things like this. No, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just being exposed to chemicals that you shouldn't be being exposed to. So, now that I've thoroughly scared you, how can we limit your exposure to BPA? It is possible. And yes, like I said, it is in everything. Especially some very popular clothing brands have plastics in their clothes, which is why I am not a huge fan of this vegan movement towards vegan clothing, because when we get away from animal products, we're going into the realm of using chemicals to create clothing. So instead of using like Angora rabbit hair to make your soft cardigan, we're using plastics. So when you have those plastics on you all day long, and then you wash your clothes in the dryer, or you don't wash your clothes in the dryer. At least I hope you don't. You wash your clothes in the washing machine and you throw those little Tide Pods in. Those things are held together by plastic. That's what that is. That's what's holding those little pieces together. I understand they're easy to throw in, but you throw that thing in the wash and it's dissolving these plastics into your clothes. So maybe you do have animal-based clothing products. Maybe you have cotton, but now you've used this, and not just Tide Pods, there's other brands, but you've used this thing, thrown it into your clothes, and now there's plastic pieces in your clothing. So that's another way that we can kind of eliminate that. If you use those, you could go with a liquid detergent. And again, be careful. Look at the ingredients on the back. This is especially important with things that you're using, like your soaps, your shampoos, things that are going to be directly in contact with your skin, because again, your skin consumes everything that you put on it. Another way that we can reduce our exposure is by not touching receipts, especially if you just use hand sanitizer, because it does increase the rate of absorption of BPA, which is really interesting. But hand sanitizer is trash anyways, you guys. It's messing up your skin's microbiome, it's drying out your skin, and it's full of chemicals that, again, are being absorbed into your skin and going directly into your bloodstream. Soap and water is going to be the best way to clean your hands. Just good old-fashioned soap and water. Most places have a bathroom. If you're like, dude, I've got like some germs and I need them off, go to the bathroom, go wash your hands. It's going to be much better for you. But yeah, just opt in for a digital receipt if that's an option that they have. Most places do have that now. And if not, and you want to keep the receipt, you can ask them to put it in the bag for you. Or you can ask them to throw it away. Or if you're a cashier and you're constantly touching receipts, as weird as it might sound, you can put gloves on. Like, people might be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why do you have gloves on? Hey, man, I don't want to be absorbing these chemicals all day long because I'm constantly touching these receipts. You can also swap out your food containers, your plastic ones, for glass ones. They're going to be easier to clean. They're not going to absorb flavors and smells and all of the things that plastic does. And they also won't get all stained when you keep spaghetti in them. Same thing with water bottles. Swap them out for glass or metal. I always carry my water bottle with me. It's metal and it is damn near indestructible. Somebody dropped it from like 2 stories up. We were on a roof just hanging out. And they were like, and dropped my water bottle. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? went down there and it's literally perfectly fine. You know, so if you want an indestructible water bottle, a metal one is a good one to have. And, you know, it's going to help save you money. You're not going to be constantly replacing your plastic containers all the time, because if you do have plastic water bottles, they get cracks in them. They get warped. You know, you leave them in your car. I leave my water bottle in the car all the time. But again, it's metal. But if you leave the plastic ones in there, it gets hot. You know, your car is like a little oven, especially out in the sun. And you're going to be getting BPA and whatever into your water. Also, I understand how easy it is to get a water bottle, especially if you're like out at the bar or something and you're like, hey, I'm not drinking, or you are drinking. You're like, I need a water. A lot of the times the bartenders will hand you a bottle of water. You could ask them like, hey man, can you just like put some water in a cup for me? Because they do have water on that little thingy that they have that they use for like Cokes and shit. What's another thing we can do? We can also bring our own coffee mug. You know, when you go to get coffee, I know that sounds kind of silly, but again, then you're not going to be absorbing all of that BPA from that plastic lining. I know Panera lets you do it. If you go in and get coffee from them, some places may have not reopened to doing this, you know, because of the thing. But you can always ask, you know, or if you're going to a coffee shop and you're just going to hang out, you can ask if they have mugs instead of to-go cups. A lot of places do. And it kind of makes you feel a little bit, you know, more cozy sitting there in the coffee shop with your mug instead of like a plastic to-go cup. Because like, you know, I know it's literally impossible to avoid all plastics, to avoid BPA completely, especially because everything is wrapped in plastic. You can't go to the store and buy anything pretty much that's not wrapped in plastic. Even like your fruits and vegetables, they have those stickers on them. Those stickers are plastic. I mean, I hope you're not eating those stickers, but still, like it's on everything. You know, packaged foods are wrapped in plastics. If you buy microwavable meals, which I know a lot of people do, those are in plastic. And if you are one of those people that do buy microwave stuff, just take it out of the plastic and put it on a plate before you heat it up. I know that the box says poke a hole in the top and put it in the microwave for 5 minutes. Just take it out, because microwaving plastic is just putting BPA into your food. So again, it's literally everywhere, but being aware of this issue and being aware of why this is concerning will make you a little bit more conscious of your exposure. And small changes like this will have a huge, huge effects on your health in a good way, because we have a lot of health problems right now that we didn't used to have. And a lot of it stems from exposure to chemicals like this. So yes, you should be concerned about BPA because it is basically an estrogen drug. This should concern you. There are ways to mitigate some of your exposure. So that's, you know, it's not all doom and gloom, but we should be aware of things like this. Now, I am super excited to let you guys know that my new book, Transforming Anxiety, will be available for pre-order on Amazon starting December 21st. Now, the official release date is the 1st of January, and what better way to start out your new year than by addressing your anxiety if you are somebody that does struggle with anxiety. In the book, I discuss causes of anxiety, how to reduce anxiety, how to, walk yourself through maybe why this is happening, and how to actually use your anxiety to your advantage, because anxiety is not all bad. It serves a purpose. It's there for a reason. It's a primal thing that's coded into our DNA. It is important. It's very important. And I walk you through how to use this for you instead of it being against you. This is something I've been working on for a really long time and is very, very close to my heart. So I am beyond excited to finally be able to share this with you guys. Again, the pre-order date is December 21st on Amazon, and official release is New Year's Day. Now, as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and listening to my super scratchy voice. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful people. And if you like this podcast, go ahead and give it a review, because that would help me out. That would help get this information out to more people so that they can learn about things like this and why they should be concerned about BPA too, because it is a problem and people need to know, because most people don't know. Now, until next time, my friends, I want you to go out there and I want you to have yourself a great freaking rest of your day.